Attorney General Eric Holder getting a bruising reception over the Fast and Furious scandal on Capitol Hill, appearing before the Republican-dominated House Judiciary Committee this week. Holder making an admission of the program's failure.
Allowing guns to walk, whether in this administration or the prior one, is wholly unacceptable. The use of this misguided tactic is inexcusable, and it must never happen again.
But he's still not offering any explanation as to why the program was started in the first place. So what more does Eric Holder need to do? Here now, Congressman Blake Farenthold, a Republican from Texas. He sits on the House committees for oversight in government reform and homeland security. Congressman, thanks for joining us this afternoon. Let's get right to the point. During this hearing, a lot of people were surprised that none of the members of Congress asked the Attorney General who was responsible in the first place for launching Fast and Furious. Why?
That's the big question. Who knew what, when? And we've had so much dodging from Eric Holder, I don't think we were really expecting to get an answer for that. But that's the bottom line question. Who knew what, when, and how do we make sure it doesn't happen again? And I'm going to add a third question to that is, was this whole thing politically motivated to create a gun crisis?
Well, sir, why would it have been politically motivated?
Well, if you look at some of the recent emails that came back, they talk about demand letter number 3, which is basically what we're actually starting to see implemented, where gun dealers are being required to report sales of multiple weapons in border regions. And that's a violation of the Second Amendment.
What would you like the Attorney General to do at this point?
At this point, he needs to come clean with us. If he was responsible, he ought to step down, and he ought to name names.
He's already admitted that he will not step down under any circumstances. He will continue to serve as Attorney General. And the President of the United States has also given Eric Holder his support, supporting him as his Attorney General. What else can Congress do at this point in terms of finding out who launched Fast and Furious?
Well, we're continuing the investigation in the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. There's also a resolution going around the House, vote of no confidence in Mr. Holder. And as you heard Mr. Sensenbrenner mention in the Judiciary Committee hearing, impeachment is not off the table.
Well, he's calling for impeachment. And what would impeachment do in this case? Because will it do anything to actually get to the bottom of why Fast and Furious was launched? Because the bottom line is this has been going on, this investigation is going on for almost 11 months now. We still don't have any answers. All we do know is that a Border Patrol agent has been killed as a result of this program.
The Justice Department is stonewalling on this. If you make a mistake in life,
if they're
you need to own up to it.
Then to say that they're stonewalling would suggest that there perhaps is a cover-up the Attorney General will be trying to protect in this case.
Well, it could be he's trying to protect himself, or it could be he's trying to protect someone in the White House.
So again, the question I guess I have to ask you once again, what more do you want from the Attorney General after all this dodgeball that's been going back and forth between Congress and the Justice Department? Where do we get to the final bottom line that will help alleviate this problem? Because he has already admitted that this will go on for some time because of the program being implemented, and he says it's the wrong thing that should have never been done.
Right. So let's get a straight answer of whose idea was it and what happened to the person whose idea it was. If I came up with that harebrained scheme, I'd expect to lose my job.
Well, Congressman, your point is well taken. And to your point, though, and impeaching him, or at least suggesting that, the Democrats are saying that wouldn't do anything at all. It's actually more expensive and more problematic to do that. So where do you, again, you got to get to the point of finding the bottom line of how this happened and getting Eric Holder to the table to give the total truth and nothing but the truth.
That's exactly right. And if impeachment may be the only way to do it, if you start dodging and redacting things and not answering the questions and claiming executive privilege and lawyering up for all practical purposes, then we're not going to get to the bottom of it. Just come clean. Tell us who did what, who knew what, when, and let's move on down the road, get rid of those people, make sure the policies are in place, that it doesn't happen again, and make sure the American people are reassured that this was not politically motivated. I think it may have been.
Congressman, I thank you for your comments. Again, I just want to, before we close, Representative John Conyers, Democrat of Michigan, who's also on that committee as a ranking Democrat, says he's been down this path before, more impeachments than anyone else in the country, and he says that won't solve the case. Maybe there's a better way of getting to him to bring some truth to the table. Thank you, sir.